This is going to be the first in a series of videos where I critique Blizzard's brilliant map design. I'm going to be honest, some of it is going to be me just nitpicking, but hey, that's what I'm good at and this is my channel. If you don't like it, you can leave. Am I a professional map developer? No. Does my opinion or feedback really matter? Not exactly. Am I going to make videos about it anyway? You bet your ass I am. I'm no stranger to making maps myself. I've made quite a few in Valve Hammer Editor back in the day for CS 1.6 and a few for CSGO. But since I have ADD and I can't work on something for longer than 10 minutes at a time, I could never be bothered finalizing the textures and details. Usually I just create a basic map layout and adjust it based on how it was played. And while Counter-Strike fundamentally is the polar opposite type of FPS game, the same map design principles apply when designing a map for any game at all, for the most part. You have your spawn areas, your objectives, your choke points, and your flanks. I'm bad at explaining shit from a technical standpoint, so I'm not going to sit here and try to lecture you on it. But if you'd like to know more about the design process of making a map for an FPS game, I highly recommend checking out 3 Clicks Philip here on YouTube. The link for his channel is in the description below. His content is mainly focused on Counter-Strike, but if you don't mind that and actually pay attention to what he has to say, you'll learn a lot about the map making process. The guy is a fucking genius. The first map in the series we'll be looking at is Hanamura. From an aesthetic standpoint, it's a masterpiece. I don't think I've ever seen such a beautiful looking map in any game, online or off. The vibrant colors pop, and the mix of classic and modern Japanese architecture just blends so well. If it sounds like I'm saying some really basic bitch shit, it's because I am. I'm not a fucking art critic. Let me put it to you this way. If Hanamura was a girl, she would have the best looking, she would just be the prettiest looking girl you've ever seen. Or if you're into guys, the most handsome looking guy you've ever seen. But personality wise, they're absolutely fucking terrible. Unfortunately, every rose has its thorn. Aesthetically, it's a phenomenal map. Gameplay wise, it's a piece of shit. It's a fucking mess. There's so many things wrong with it, and it's a shame because again, it's the prettiest fucking map in Overwatch. It's gorgeous. Like, how can you say that Hanamura does not look good? I just don't get it. Anyway, I have a few problems that I want to discuss. Let's start with the main culprit first. If Blizzard came to me and asked, what makes Hanamura shit? I'd say a few things, but the first thing I'd point to is this abomination right here. The Hanamura door has to be the worst choke point I've ever seen in any FPS game, even more so than those choke points in Battlefield 3's Metro level. There's one decent sized opening on the ground, which isn't too bad, but I have one question for you. Where the fuck is the flank path? Wait, what's that? The window is a flank? This piece of shit ain't a fucking flank. If I want to try to get the jump on someone that's shooting at me, I'm not gonna try surprising someone from a fucking window 15 feet away. I'm gonna go behind them. How exactly can this be considered a flank? Any enemy who's sitting a bit further back behind the door can easily see anyone coming in that way. And don't even get me started on trying to get through the thing when the enemy team has a Junkrat or a sniper. At that point, you're better off just trying to push through the door on the ground. This is where my first gripe comes in. A flanking path should not be directly next to the main path. Voskaya Industries shows us that Blizzard can make a fantastic flank route, but even this flank suffers from the same issue the Hanamura door flank does. They can only be used by a few heroes. A flanking path should be usable by all heroes in the game. Paladins lets you flank with anybody. Why can't Overwatch do it? I just don't understand what Blizzard is trying to accomplish. The overall map layout is just complete shit. It's like they designed this map in the shape of a funnel. They give you all this freedom to run around, but it all leads you to the same fucking point, the door. There's no other way to go through. It's complete bullshit. I have a feeling that at some point I'm gonna get a comment telling me, oh, just fly over with Pharah. But really, do you think that shit's gonna work? You're still pushing through the same direction, and once you're airborne, you're easy picking for the guaranteed hit scan character on the enemy team. Once you go over the door, there's no cover for you to take unless you fly back over, and usually by the time you realize that maybe you shouldn't have done this, you'll already be fucking dead. You know, for someone who wears a suit of armor, Pharah's really fucking fragile. Another response I'd probably get is just combo your ultimates. Yeah, here's the thing, I play solo queue, so that's impossible. The door is literally a nut up or shut up situation. For the most part, everyone doesn't nut up. and if by some miracle you happen to actually break through the door, it's usually through sheer luck. You can do all you can to try to combine ultimates with other people, but everyone is usually too busy fucking around doing their own thing. At least in other maps it's possible to break a choke in solo queue. The first alteration I'd suggest is adding another window-like opening to this wall found in the alley to the left of the door. With a Junkrat or a sniper camping the wall on the other side, it still may be a death trap, but at least it's not as much as a death trap as trying to go through a window directly in front of the entire enemy team. At least here you'd have a better chance of survival. If a window was added here, the typical defense setup would alter drastically. Instead of everyone hugging the door and occasionally glancing at the door's window, most of the team would be fighting from here, which wouldn't be too bad seeing as there are 2 large health packs nearby. At this point, you would be able to watch both openings and defend them pretty well. The second suggestion is highly unlikely to ever be considered, but it's still fun to think about how it could be used in a match. If we look over the top of this wall on the right side of the door, we can see a very familiar staircase. What if we can get here from the outside? The top of the wall is very high up and it's blocked by an invisible ceiling, so a Genji or a Hanzo can't make it over. But if they got rid of the ceiling and it was lowered just a bit, it could be a great flanking option. It lets you get behind the enemy, lets you get above or on ground level with them. There's also a health pack that is easily accessible nearby, and most of all, it's out of harm's way of the door. Again, any competent player with half a brain on defense could make this flank a nightmare for attackers as long as they're sticking nearby. Let's move on. This next part may seem unnecessary, but it still irks me regardless. What the fuck is up with the health pack placement? We got 2 large health packs in walking distance to each other on both sides of the choke point. Why isn't there a big health pack on the other side? Do they want us to just use one side of the map? This would make sense if there was an opening in the left side like I mentioned earlier, but that isn't the case, so why are they both here? Why are the smaller health packs further away? Shouldn't they be closer? Has Blizzard ever heard of risk versus reward? Before we move on to the last point, I do want to give Blizzard some credit with their health pack placement on and around the second control point. These larger health packs are placed outside of the control point. Any defender wanting to grab one of these will have to go out of their way and risk being away from the team should a team fight break out. There were a few times where I had to run off and grab a large health pack because our healer was down, and we lost because I was the main tank and I wasn't on the point. Blizzard implemented the risk versus reward system for health pack placements here, so why couldn't they do it for the rest of the map? I don't know what they were thinking. It's like when the devs were making the map, they just randomly assigned health packs just fucking anywhere in any empty area of the map. And speaking of empty space, what the fuck is up with all of this? No one uses this ledge, this path is useless, there's absolutely nothing here, not even a health pack, and there's literally no use for this area since it only leads to the main path when it could have been used as an alternate path to get to the choke. The right side does this, why doesn't the left? And I've only walked over here maybe once? I mean, what the fuck is this place good for? If Blizzard removed these areas, I don't think anybody would notice a difference. No one goes to... No, these places aren't even fucking used. Last but not least, there's one last thing I just can't wrap my head around. Why are there only 2 openings for the attacking team? Why do 2 of the openings from spawn lead to the same exit? Why can't we have a 3rd exit going to the walkway on top? What if the team gets spawn camped? I mean, if you are, you're bad and you probably deserve it, but still, what the fuck? All the other escort maps and hybrid maps have at least 3 exit, and some of them have 4. Why does Hanamura have 2? I just don't fucking get it. I'm just done. Blizzard, get some new map designers. That's it for this week. What do you think about Hanamura? Are there any other maps you'd like to see me review? Let me know in the comments section below. As always, leave a like if you thought it was somewhat entertaining, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already if you like what you see. I currently upload 1 video each Sunday, so be sure to visit again next week. Also, I have a Discord channel. Join it, hang out with me. I'm lonely, I'm bored. We can play video games if you're into that sort of shit. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Later.